what, did you get it?
I have no, but I have the three right here next to me.
Okay. But what was interesting is that the difference between $29 for all three books and $12 for all three books was a 4x difference in conversions. 4x. And so there are these lines where you're like, at 48 hours it feels reasonable. So it's like, where's the line where it feels unreasonable? And at that unreasonable line, right as you tease into it, is where you'll see this kind of change in demand that will happen. And then we just do math. It's kind of like having an unconditional guarantee, knowing that you're going to have 10 or 20% more people buy and more refunds, but you'll still net more, right? Now, it's not one-to-one in terms of the example, but hopefully the analogy makes sense, which is like, if we say we're willing to give 20% back, right? If we don't get it, done in 24 hours, then we might get 5 times the demand.
Okay.
And so I would experiment with number one is difference in creative. Like, I would use a lot of statics if you haven't done that, because that might be an easier one for you. But two, the biggest one, especially local, is offer driven. So it's like a 24-hour promise. It's like from the time you basically give us, like, you pay us, like, the stuff will be out of your house in 24 hours.
Okay.
That's the idea. Like, how can we just, like, speed is going to be the biggest thing you have. Obviously, you have a little bit of risk with the guys not being, ex-cons and stealing stuff or, destroying the house or whatever. Again, I don't actually think that, but, consumer perception. Those should probably be where I would focus on as my point of greatest leverage.
Okay. Cool.
Appreciate
Thank you so much.
you. Yeah, you bet.
Thanks.
Ryan, what's up?
Alex, thanks so much for having me on. Really appreciate your time. I've been watching your content for about 7 months now. It's changed my life. So I just wanted to thank you for that, everything you've done. Give me more time to spend with my family, my daughter. So about myself, though, I run a multi-state online psychiatry practice for about 7 years. We provide medication management. I have 7 providers, about 1.5 million in revenue, looking to get to 5 million in the next 12 months. I've got 3 constraints stacked, and I can't tell which one to break first.
Okay.
So my first constraint is demand. That's the most immediate one. All of my revenue, about 85% of it, comes from a single channel. I've been doing the same thing for 7 years, essentially. I've maxed out on what I can do on that channel. I'm got 7 providers billing about 20 to 25 hours per week, which they're committed to, but I'm running into constraints where I don't have enough billable hours, where all their availability isn't getting full.
Yeah.
My second constraint is margin. So I pay my nurse practitioners 50% of what they collect. So that lands the NP right around market salary.
Yeah.
Can't go any lower on the split without losing them. If I move to hourly or salary, that puts me into cash flow constraints.
Yeah.
So that's risky.
Okay.
1.3% is my net margin.
Yeah.
So my problem is if I scale from 7 to 20, I grow revenue, but I don't necessarily grow profit. And then my third constraint is onboarding. So we take insurance, about 89% comes from insurance, 11% from cash. I've about hit the ceiling as far as the credentialing goes, as fast as we can do the onboarding. So that kind of caps a little bit how fast I can add people, because it takes about 3 to 4 months. So my question to you is, what would you address first and why?
So it's a holistic issue. So instead of saying like there's 3 constraints, I think the issue is fundamentally you have a model that has a channel, the insurance companies, right, who define your pricing.
Yes.
And so if you're in the insurance business, it's kind of like a regulated industry. It's like functionally, right? It's like you have a price cap. And so the only way to win in those industries is that you have to eat it from the bottom, which means it's all cost driven. So it's like, unfortunately, you have to think about your business like Walmart, which is like, we actually have to save every single penny, because demand shouldn't be an issue for the business, because you should have enough insurance clients that you always are filled up. But like, this is a very classic problem for insurance-based healthcare, is that they have revenue, they have almost no margin, and that's because insurance prices at the point of a normal operator barely making enough. Like that's where they price. They continue to lower it until people go out of business, and then they don't have enough. So they have to like price you right where they know that you're going to barely stay alive. And so you basically have you have one choice to make, and then there's downstream from that, which is if you want to stay insurance, you become a pure operator. it's all about driving down costs everywhere. And the biggest lever you have is you have NPs, right? Is there any other person or way that we like the novelty of the model right now? The problem with the model is that you're giving 50% of all your revenue to labor,
Right.
which is really tough.
Yes.
And so we'd want that cost to be closer to like 20% of the cost of insurance. And so it's like, is there a way that we can move people through faster so we can get more, more out of each either NP, or is there another person who's not an NP that can still do the job? That's on the cost-driven side. The other side is you just turn it into a normal business, which is just cash, and then you just learn, and then you can sell whatever you want, right? And then you have no rules. Which one of those feels more like aligned with your skill set?
I would say both.
Well, we got to pick one.
Okay, well, if I were to pick one, I would say we've already maxed out efficiency. To talk out loud, I built my own software program. We've got 99% collection rates from insurance, very low stuff sitting out there, 2 months sitting out in AR. So I feel like I've maximized a lot of the efficiency. I have very low staffing costs. I've outsourced that. So it's got to be going to a cash pay based rate because we know insurance rates are going up. And so it would have
You mean
to
going
be,
down?
well, the cost of getting, for the patients is going up. The insurance rates are going up about 11 to 13% a year. So
Are you getting paid more, 11 to 13% a year?
patients are paying more in premiums and their benefits are going down, which means they have to pay more out of pocket, meaning their costs
Yeah.
are less predictable. So give people I was thinking go to a subscription-based, cash-based, where people have predictability and start cutting out the insurance, a hybrid approach where people can use their insurance but then do subscription-based.
Yeah. The bridge from where you're at to cash is less risky than you think it is. So the way that I would do this is that you're going to have this flow of insurance customers, right? In the sales process, I would ask one sorting question up front, which is, are you here for the best thing, or are you here for just what insurance covers? And just by asking that question, you will unlock the people who are willing to spend more to get the thing they need. And then that basically opens the door to selling cash services and say, look, listen, we'll bill your insurance to everything that it can cover, but this would be the excess. And then just making that one change in your business, you've got 1.5% margins. Like if we add 10 or 20% to the business, it would 10x your profit.
Absolutely. What I'm seeing is there needs to be something we offer that other people don't, that they see the value inherently, right, for this. And so what I really see is I see the problems every day. I've been doing this for about 15 years now, so I know what the problems are, and a lot of it is people just don't feel fulfilled. They go into psychiatry, they hit a plateau, they get the medications, and then they kind of level off, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, how can I integrate AI into this? And that's what I've been building out as a solution to this, where we can integrate what they're doing with the therapist with what they're doing with us, have them hit 1 or 2 outcomes every time they meet with us, add in more or less a coaching component to this, where the healthcare provider is kind of meeting the needs, where they go to the therapist and they go to us for the medications, and then we have a coaching component. That coaching component is in fact the app, where we can now solve that communication problem between the medical provider and the therapist, because right now it's very siloed in healthcare. They go to the therapist, they go to us for medication management, and that's kind of across the board. Whereas if we could solve that problem, so that's what I've been spending a lot of my time and energy on, is putting that into something that the patient will be able to use. So imagine they see us, they pick 1 or 2 outcomes. What do you want essentially? How can we best help you? What does that look like? They see the therapist gets to see what their outcomes are, and essentially we can bridge between the therapist and us, which then pulls the therapist in to refer more patients, and then we can essentially cross-refer between online therapy practices and us. If we can get more
I'm not sure what the AI thing does.
Well, I would look at it really simply as the patient has an outcome. They don't know what they want. They're focused on symptoms. These are my problems. But what they really want is they want to, have a better life. They want to feel fulfilled. They want, there's things that people want, right? But they're so focused on just overcoming these symptoms.
What does the AI do?
I would see it as helping them. They quite simply, they see us, and the provider logs their outcomes of what they want, and then here are 1 or 2 easy things that you're going to do for 10 or 15 minutes a day to get there.
What does the AI do?
It solves the communication barrier.
Let me say it differently. do they chat with it? Do they text it? What is it like? How are they interacting with this thing?
How do they interface?
Yeah.
With it? Exactly. Okay, got it. So it's the provider that interfaces with it and puts the information in, and then the patient just gets the information as a care plan, which then goes to the therapist. So it's basically a streamlined form of communication.
So it sounds like you just want to make AI plans and then sell them care plans on top of their medication stuff.
I would add in other value-added things like videos and things that are proven strategies that are really going to help people be on medications to help them get better as part of a subscription. So they get that information after the visit as a care plan, information tailored to them.
What's the subscription, like, why is it consumable? Because I'm going to get a plan, right?
Yeah.
So why do I need to get another plan?
Well, because most of the time when people see a provider, they're just talking about what they're going to do. They're talking about the problem. It's very clinically based, but it doesn't really get at the root cause. It doesn't get at the outcome. It's not outcome based. Healthcare is inherently outcome based.
I get that, but I'm gonna say the customer journey. I go to a therapist.
Yeah.
Therapist says you need drugs. I go to you, and then you say, here's how we balance these drugs.
Yes.
And then you get paid for insurance to do that, and then I go back to my therapist to keep doing my therapy. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't the therapist feel like you're interfering with their plan that they have for the patient?
No, because the therapist oftentimes will be the one that tells the patient about 80% of the time that they need medications anyway. So the therapist is mostly on board because most of our patients that come to us are already seeing a therapist, and the therapist wanted them to come to us for medication management. So when we provide supportive therapy to them, we're integrating in with what they're already doing in therapy, so they're not siloed. Because why do they have to be separate? That's
no, I understand what the problem that you're trying to solve.
Okay.
It's not. It doesn't have. It's like it doesn't have a lot of teeth, right? I think that if you basically if you just said, hey, you need more help than your therapist. Here's a very low cost version of this, which is we'll send you a video every day, which will give you a practice that you can do in addition to the medications, and it'll decrease, and it's towards these specific outcomes, and the AI is just sending the videos. I don't think you're gonna get how many patients a week are you bringing on?
We're bringing on, well, let's see, 55 new patients a month. So divide by 4, essentially that's what we're getting, and then per month we're getting around total patients around 500 to 600.
What was the new patients again? One.
About 155.
Okay.
I spend about 6,000 on ads a month.
Okay, so 155 new patients a month.
Yeah.
What you're gonna want to do, because you're 1.5 million a month, so it's like what, 120-ish a month, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 120-ish. So it's like if we can get an extra, for every $100 we get from there, gives you another 10% increase in revenue. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I would rather, instead of selling a subscription, I think you'll have a better bet just selling to the goal.
Okay.
And just saying, I mean, you could test it, but my bet would be something I was probably around $500 or $600 is what I would want as my price point, because that's an impulse purchase for consumers, typically in that range. Mm-hmm. Call it $300 to $600. And so I would say your plan's going to take 16 weeks. We'll basically sell you this automated personalized plan, which is $300 or $600. If we can do that, you could probably, I mean, every 10% for you is like a 7x in profit. So if we get, so I just want to keep this simple because the way you explained it, I think would drive anyone insane. And it's way too much. It's two things that you do. Number one, sorting question. Are you here for the best outcome or just what insurance covers? If they say best outcome, then you say, cool, most people don't want to be on medication forever. And so what we're going to do is try and help you, and you're not here to take medication, you're here to get an outcome, right? Right. Okay, cool. And so we found, and there's tons of research to support this, is that these practices support these outcomes. And so it's a one-time thing, we plan it, and if you can track, this would be helpful for you, the people who buy our plan versus the people who don't have slightly better outcomes, or they decrease their medicine, whatever thing that you can track, would then make that, then what ends up happening is that the value exchange becomes, I'm going to pay $500 to take 20% less medications in 6 months from now. Okay. And I think and as soon as you can just make that equivalency within compliance and all that, that would be the pinch. And so I think if you could just do that, that probably will help.
So would you offer two tracks for people who want more interaction, that want to use their insurance still, and will apply the visits towards their insurance, and then the second one is people who want less visits but more information, and kind of to strike a balance between consumer mindsets?
I want to max out insurance, and then I want to have something that's on top of that.
Okay, so do we want to increase the number of percentage that are cash pay, because they're only 11% right now?
Yeah,
that are
it's
cash pay.
less about like increasing the percentage
Okay.
of cash pay and just saying like, you come in, you've got insurance covers you for $100. I'm making it up, $100. My thing is $200. The first 100 is going to go towards, we're going to do the insurance deliverable,
Got it.
and then we're also going to add this on top.
Got it. And you think I'm constrained as far as what I pay the providers? Because I know the market rate and the split. I did the math. I could do it in a tiered fashion, but then when I looked at the gains, given my operating expenses, it didn't really make sense to do it that way. I was constrained at 50%, I think.
Well, I mean, you have a cost-driven business because you have
Yes.
insurance, which means you cannot control price, which means you can only control cost, and you're saying you can't
Yes.
go above 50%. And so the only way that you can do that is
Yes.
that we either get way more out of them or we find a way
Okay.
for them to do it cheaper. Like, that's it.
Okay.
And
that makes
like,
sense.
I'm taking what you're
Yeah.
saying at face value, that like there's no way. I think that's false. So I would just
Okay.
stop saying that because it's not true.
Okay.
Like, you're
Okay.
running 1% margins. There's no way that, like, because I've seen other businesses that are insurance, in
Yeah.
the space, and they
Yeah.
don't run 1% margins. So like,
Yes.
you for sure can save more money than you currently are. But in terms of ease of getting into a world where you don't have to purely be subject to the regulations and the pricing of insurance companies, sorting question, and then one plan that you can sell to those people that's on top, that's low operational drag.
Got it. Thank you. That's very helpful.
You bet.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Lamine,
Hello, hola, hola.
what's up? Is Lamine, is that the way to say it? Is it Lamine? Did I say it right?
Lamin, yeah.
Lamine, all right. Talk to me.
All right. So yeah, I'm a growth operator for a brand selling leadership and self-development to men. We're on track to 500K this year. We want to target 1 to 2 million in 2027.
All
So we
right.
have two products. One is a $2,000 per year online community on school, and we have four in-person retreats a year. So we sell them separately or as a package with online community at $3,500.
Okay.
We sell off bi-weekly webinars, 41% close rate, so I think the acquisition is not an issue. The problem is that we are unable to make money off current customers, so we always keep on having new customers every single month, and they don't renew at the end of the month, at the end of the 12 months. So also with the retreats, people say it's life-changing, this is something they want to do again, but they don't repeat. So, and they're also not profitable, so they eat out like 50% of the margins. The retreats is just too expensive. So my plan after talking to ACQ AI and just rehearsing is to sell the retreat plus a community package as the front end at like $5,000. And then we improve the offer by including like 3 months of one-on-one accountability with a team member, like coaching with a team member.
Okay.
So we can get them results and then we can upsell them after the end of the 3 months. Hey, do you want more accountability? Let's do this, and you can join the retreat. And also inside the retreat, we can upsell to a more premium retreat, twice the
Yeah,
price.
you should be. I'm assuming you're not closing out your retreats.
Yeah, we're not.
Yeah, you need to sell out your retreats. Like, that's the issue. Like, I'm just telling you right now, that's the problem. I agree with the ACQAI of me on the front end. I do think, yeah, having a 5 or 6K offer for this type of thing, for call it an annual subscription of events, works for consumer male audience. You can add in the one-on-one, that's fine. I think that'll be a good sweetener. I think the biggest issue is just that, yeah, like a delivery event will not be profitable if you do not sell. It is a cost unless you sell.
Sure. And then we also saw that they tend to kind of value more in person than online things.
Yeah, so does everyone.
And people that purchase both, they keep purchasing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
sell more of that.
Absolutely. That was my plan, so I just wanted to
Good. No, that's fine. Yeah. Put all the package together of the stuff that people value the most, price it accordingly, and then when you have them come out, get them to renew early. So I'll just give you the big mistake, which is people will get afraid of renewing people before the end of their subscription. Do not do that. So if someone has 4 events they're going to go to, which I think is a lot, by the way, I think you'd be probably better served with 2 or 3. 4 is a ton. Like, it'd be better to have 4 and then say pick 2 or pick 3. That way they have more flexibility. And then when someone's at their second one, that's when I would sell the renewal. with some sort of
Yeah.
faster action thing while they're in the moment, feeling good, they're in the vibes, rather than going home feeling shitty.
Yeah, and then after like a year, they come back to us, hey, can
Yeah.
I join again? But and also I have a plan, which is we have like the main retreat, like online event, and then inside the online event, we'll set them like a more premium one with less people and more expensive, like maybe
Sure.
more support, something like that.
That's fine.
Perfect.
That
was
works.
it.
You're just not selling from your events, and you're selling piecemeal rather than all at once. That's it. 2 changes.
Perfect. That's it. Thank
Appreciate
you
you,
so much.
Lamine. All right, see ya. So, Valente, could you ask them to grab me a chocolate shake?
Say it again.
A chocolate shake.
Gotcha.
Thank you. Christian, what's up, man?
Hey,
I feel like I
Alex.
see you every week now. What's up?
I gotta make sure I'm active. Gotta make sure I'm active, man. How you been?
Good. What's going on?
God bless, man. Well, my name is Christian, also known as Retainer Poppy. I help TikTok Shop affiliates close high-ticket brand deals, and we're actually at 1.5 million so far, so it kind of went a little down.
Right.
We're on track, or we want to go to 10 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
The constraint used to be brand deals.
Okay.
Fixed that. All good. Current constraint is finding qualified affiliates with the cash to spend to now join the higher ticket offer. Used to be 4K for a month. We changed that to being 20K for 3 months and then the tail. At this new price, the closing ratio went from 96% down to 20-30%. So
Okay.
huge thing. The plan was to go to 30K for the 3 months and then have the tail.
Mm-hmm.
At the rate right now, I like wouldn't be too confident because I'm like at 20K,
Okay.
I'm damn, it's not closing.
Okay.
At 30K, I'm
Yeah.
you know. So it's finding affiliates with the money to spend.
Yeah.
I've done the paid ads, organic, and I'm ripping on organic right now. Personal brand, so I'm charging higher rates, and
Yeah.
I have way more testimonials and proof that it works. However, I'm not hitting it. Like I'll hop on these calls and everything, and I do all the closing,
Yeah.
and it's still not hitting as before.
Yeah.
My margins went from 80%, very nice, down to 37.5%. So now I'm like, oh.
How did the
shoot.
margins go down when you, like, where did the cost come from?
Yeah, so it went into me funneling a lot into, well, now I hired more people. So like that was one thing. I hired like a brand acquirer, I have more teams, I have more 6-figure employees,
Yeah.
support reps, all that.
Yeah.
Ripping on Claude and AI.
Yeah.
Pennies on top.
So
Super
why don't we
cool.
do this? Which is that, if I get you feel, I know you're always positive, but like you feel a little beat down. So I'm gonna bet, like, why don't we basically, in order to make an ethical change in the offer, right? You could lower the front end price and then just basically add a point or two on the back. That way you don't have to feel like you're right. And so that way when someone comes in, you can say, hey, it's 10 grand and a little higher on the back. So you can, that should increase your sales velocity. I doubt that like going from 20 to 10, I'm not normally a price guy of lowering it, but I'd rather get you back into kind of like feeling good again. And then the percentage on the back is where you can basically maneuver it. So if someone's like, hey, I paid 20, it's like, you can give me more of all your deals. And they're like, you know what, I'm fine. Right? Because you have an issue where like you're taking people who are fundamentally broke and you're showing them a way to make a lot of money. And the way that works traditionally is that you take a percentage of that money, but you're also charging to do it, right? Basically to de-risk yourself if they don't do the work or whatever. And so, yeah, I think we can just do this.
Okay. So currently it's 20 and then I have 10 on the back. I know we were gonna do tiers. That's what I'm getting the brand acquire on. Because this machine's not running up full percent, I can't even guarantee like, hey, all right, you pay me more and I can give you a higher level of brands. So I'm just doing 10K on the back and then front is 20. Would you now do 15? So 15,
something like that.
15.
Just to give yourself, like, again, this gives you room to experiment, because when you have two levers, it allows you to do experimentation on the front end and have more unique deals.
Okay, so we're like, I should not even like consider going to 30 or.
Well, you're not closing 20, and so I'm concerned about that. And so either we have to get better avatars, to your point, right? The thing is the best avatars have agents, right?
Yeah.
Right. And so like you're trying to get in this in between hybrid world of like not an agent but an agent kind of thing. And so there's going to be a cap on that because the guys who truly can get those $1 million deals, et cetera, have somebody that's representing them where they've already done deals, right? And so you're trying to get these like emerging stars, right? That's kind of like what you're capturing. And so yeah, I think we just play with the percentage. I'd rather get your sales velocity up so that you stop, so you don't feel weird.
Okay. And then as far as like the avatars go, just wanted to mention this because I know I get to talk to you, but I want to mention this. So in info, you have like your little pond, and like you talk to this person, she's like, oh my god, he's the best, great. I scooped up a lot of this pond, and I have a few more outliers, but the pond is like, that's the pond. Now I'm finding like I gotta find a new avatar. I'm supposing, should I keep making my content for like moms and this and that and the third of my first avatar, or should I now look? I don't think
you should change avatars. Like you haven't like saturated the market.
Oh no, it's like 45 clients. It's not a lot.
Yeah, no, like you haven't like no, I don't think you change your avatar.
Okay.
And that's what the brands you have, like they all know. Yeah, like your whole brand list suits that avatar. Like I would not like changing an avatar is like probably one of the biggest changes you can make in business. So I wouldn't do that. Yeah, I think we need tweaks. We need more sandpaper. We need less chisel, like less hammers.
Let's go.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're close. It's just a pricing tweak. I wouldn't get too bent out of shape.
Let's go.
Thanks, brother.
Hello.
What's up, Abram?
How are you today?
Good, man. What's up?
Well, my name's Abram. I sell an easy weight loss program for women. We are on track for a little over $4 million this year, and I would like to be at 12 million. What I believe is stopping me is having a lead magnet that builds so much trust that my show rates, my cash collected, my lead volume are all high enough for my team to hit their goals. So I did the rule of 100, and I made the best lead magnet that has ever existed, and it is truly better than people's paid stuff, and I'm giving it away for free. I've never put more time, energy, or effort into anything in my life. So now I am absolutely terrified because this is launching August 9th, and if I mess something up, now I just wasted a colossal amount of time, and my team and their lives suffer. So I don't want them to pay for my mistakes. So
well, they're going
do
to.
You have words of wisdom here for how do I maximize this lead magnet? So it is a book, an audio-book, and a YouTube course. And then the actual lead magnet that they get from that is they opt in for a workbook, like an email opt-in.
Yeah.
So, is there specific things I should put inside the book, the audio book, or the YouTube course, or in the email sequence, or something?
Well, let me give you the biggest 80-20 on this thing, which is I don't know if you've like tested the name of the lead magnet.
Easy weight loss for women? It's a book.
Yeah, I would test like 10, 20, 30 different names because it'll have like lead magnets. Their primary value in the beginning is to capture the lead. The lead hasn't consumed the lead magnet yet. And so how you name it is going to be, that's all they're going to have to consume, right? Before they decide whether they want it or not. And so like one of the biggest levers on what, like on all that work you did is the packaging.
That title.
Yeah, the title and the packaging,
So-
man. So I would test the shit out of that. And like you can run that with like simple ads and just look at CTRs. And you can also test the opt-in on the landing page. Like don't feel weird about, again, the world is not perfect. Like if you have someone opt in for one lead magnet and you change the title and the other one has like the old ebook cover, you can still send it to them with that cover and no one's like really gonna get weird because it's free anyways. But I would strongly recommend testing that. So it's like thing number one, flashing lights, like please do that. The second thing is, you said you feel like your biggest constraint is a lead magnet, but behind that is that people do not trust you, right?
Well, I would assume it's the trust thing because if the show rates are not high enough, the cash collector is not high enough. Like we have to warm people up.
Yeah.
At some point, in the process. If I could just build that trust beforehand by making my free stuff actually valuable.
Yeah, I think you are thinking like a pure direct response guy. And the best lead magnet is content because it's distributed for free, and then they become your warmed up audience. I think the value of the lead magnet, though good, not everyone will consume it, et cetera, et cetera. And so like it will work to get leads. If someone actually does consume it, they probably will buy. But the if they consume it is the big if. And so I would also not be afraid of breaking the lead magnet into hundreds of smaller pieces and using those as content. To then you can again funnel to, it's like this is a small piece of a bigger pie. You can go grab it. And I think that would also help. But at the end of the day, like trust, if we break it down into behaviors, is just that you have told them things that when they followed them, good things happened. Which is that you just want to have more influence over them. And so the way to do that is to just give them help, basically help them first, right? And so a lead magnet is a way to do that, but content is another way, and it's free with distribution. And so like if we look at the biggest weight loss brands that exist, they almost all have big brands. You know, they are big brands or have big brands that promote them. And so the lead magnet will be a component of it. I think the names will help. But longer term, it's going to be like building out the content machine that's going to give you the trust in advance, and then maybe getting people to make the content for you.
So, I mean, I put out a match crap load of content as it is. I started posting 2 years ago. We have over 2 million followers. We get, you know, thousands of leads every single week. But it's like, I'm also like cracked out on paid ads. So
how
it's
many
like,
of them? It's weird that but you've done 4 million this year or 4 million run rate?
We're on track for 4 million this year. We did like 3 million last year.
Okay, yeah. I don't know what the views of your organic is looking like, but of the people who are coming in, have they seen your content?
Some of them.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, to what degree are they strangers?
I would say 90% are strangers.
Yeah, that's interesting, given the size of the Instagram. So your issue is that show rates are not high enough?
Well, I mean, it would be everything. It'd be show rate, close rate. My assumption is that if they trusted me more, then everything would be better.
Well, that
you know,
is
like
true.
so, like
that is
so
true.
If I want to build that,
we
yeah.
agree there.
So, because right now, what I'm making most of the money in is in a webinar, which is exactly what cranks like everything. But that is still like I don't have anything that runs in the background. Like if I had a lead magnet that was actually good and I could just send that to everyone, have them do it versus needing to show up to a webinar.
Well, I think if you try to replace webinar with lead magnet, it will not work as well.
Oh no, in the background, I'll keep running the webinar forever, but it's just like, this is like, if they like that, they'd be more likely to show up to the webinar. You know,
yeah, I mean, you could also give that as a carrot for the webinar as well, or a portion of it as a carrot for the webinar as well, just to get the opt-in.
Yeah.
But the main vein here is add webinar sales team, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And so from the webinar, you're saying the show rate on the sales team is low?
The show rate to the webinar is probably the lowest thing. I mean, we got a 30% show rate on the webinar.
That's fine, dude.
But it's
Your
just
KPI for a webinar for cold traffic is 25. So like, you're fine. Like that's you just have to make the math work there. Like you're not gonna. I mean, sure, like, it's diminishing returns at that point. Like there's probably somewhere else that would be, you'd have greater leverage. Okay, so let's assume that the show rate is not a problem. Of the people who show, what percentage are booking?
We got a 10% booking rate out of the people that show. But
That's
it's just not that many people though. You know, like it's the opt-in rate is probably the biggest thing. It'd probably be because like out of 1,000 people, we'll get 50 people that actually register for a live webinar.
You mean 1,000 clicks?
Yeah, 1,000 clicks. Yeah.
Okay,
so they go to the web page.
5%. You have a 5% opt-in rate.
Yeah.
Well then, yeah, man. I think that is if we're looking at webinar metrics, right? That's probably the biggest constraint that you have, because the 30% show up is fine. The 10% is probably low. That should probably be closer to 20 if it's a book a call CTA rather than a purchase CTA. So there's something there. But the biggest by far is the opt-in, by a mile. Because like you can be at 25 or 30% there, and like that's where you have like a 5 or 6x there. So if I were you, I'd be looking at the ads matching to the opt-in page, and I would be like my quote rule of 100, where I'd be focusing all my marketing time would be on that page. Like how do we make this clear? How do we make this simpler? How do we use more visuals? How do we call it add trust, right, to that page and just make it more enticing and more interesting than what it currently is? Because that, like, again, it's like I look at the averages here. If you're at 30% show, it's fine. Like it's not like we're not gonna get like you're not gonna get from 30 to 60. It's not gonna happen. But you can absolutely go from 5 to 10. You can absolutely go from 5 to 20. And so that's where I think you have your 4x.
Is in the opt-in. So does
Yes.
the times that they have open in order to opt in for it, is that a bigger leverage? Like, is that
That
the
is
thing
for
that
sure
you
a
would immediately
lever.
test?
That is for sure a lever. Do you have just in time right now? Is that how you're doing, or are you doing
No, there's two that are, it's twice a day. So
Okay.
it's at specific times.
and you're doing both of them?
Yeah, it's broadcast live. I did it, but I'm not doing it.
So it's recorded?
Yeah, it's to Zoom still. So they still join a Zoom thing, but it's twice a day and they have to register for it. Correct.
Well, I would hardcore consider it just in time.
Well, if I do that, the show rate drops down to 5%. So it's like so when I do the thing, what happens is they go to a VSL right after, then they get like the email opt-in, and then a couple hours later the webinar goes, and then the show rate goes from 5% to 30%.
But it is recorded right now, correct? It is auto.
Correct.
You're just picking 2 times.
Correct. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I could just pick different times if that would potentially be the thing.
I mean, what matters is they feel as though it's real. I'm guessing.
Yeah, and it's actually on Zoom. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, the big lever's there, man. That's the big lever. Bigger than everything else by a lot.
The time or the...
It's both. I'm saying
congruency
5% is the problem.
Okay.
Yeah, 5% is the problem. Availability is a big thing of that. God, there was this guy who had this little hack that he did, which is like, he had this thing where it was like, it just started 2 minutes ago when they were there, like one live right now, and that like murdered for him.
Yeah, I mean, you could do just in time. You could do it every whatever, but it has to go to a different software.
You mean instead of Zoom?
Yeah, instead of Zoom, yeah. So that's the one I did before with the terrible show rate. Like even like at the peak of my webinar, if I'm looking at the stats, I get up to 9% of people that opt in.
That is the lever though. I'm just saying.
So more webinar times or different webinar times?
I would say page.
Or, I mean, and both, yeah.
It'd be page, the promise on the page, and then the availability in terms of like their ability to schedule. But like if I'm you, all of my focus is on this point. So basically all the permutations of my testing and all my obsession would be here, not on the show rate.
On the opt-in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
And like I think the webinar could probably be improved. If it's at 10%, it should probably be at 20, but like, okay. Like not the thing I would focus on is that.
Yeah. Because that'd be like a 4x potentially that I could do. Cool. All right. Well, I will try all of those things and I will test all of the lead magnet titles and split it up into a million pieces.
Good. I appreciate
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet.
Thank you. All right, bye.
My people, do not spam the chat. I will guarantee that here's my guarantee that if you do that, I will never answer your question. All right. What's up, Tristan?
Yo, what's up, Alex? How you good?
Yes, I'm great. How are you?
Fine. Thanks for having me. I'm excited. So let me break it down. I'm calling from Europe. We run a done-for-you photo business specialized on nightclubs only. We are on our way to hit 1 million revenue this year.
A done-for-you what business?
3 million Done for you photo booths. So
Photo
we
booths. Got
buy,
it.
yeah,
Okay.
photo booths, and we only put them into nightclubs. So we want to be at 3 million in the next 2 years. Our business model is we own the booths, we put them in the nightclubs, we earn per picture that the guest takes, and we pay a commission to the club.
Right.
Our LTV on average is 6 years plus. Reality is probably longer, but nature of the business is clubs close, so that's how we lose them. But in general, we don't have any churn.
What's the
except
revenue?
We put them out.
Yeah, what's the revenue per club per month? I know it depends on the club, obviously, but give me an average.
Yeah, on average, we are per booth. We are at 950 gross, which leaves us at 450 to 500 a month contribution margin before HQ overhead. We run 80 booths at the moment.
So you give them
gross
half.
margin.
You give them half, and then you take half to do the rest of the business.
No, we give them like 20 to 25%.
Okay.
And yeah, exactly. And that leaves us at about 30% net margin after overhead and debt. While thanks to you, we leveled up in leads. We're doing one thing that really worked for us is doing more of what really works and what already works instead of trying new things all the time. That really helped. Thank you. That brought us to our real constraint, which is cash flow. So for new machines. If we want to hit our goal, we need to upgrade our money model. So far, we tried to upsell an upsell offer for the clubs that brings them from 20 to 25% up to 50, with paying a one-time fee of 6,500. But the market did not really take it. Only our flagships would take it, but they earn that money in 2 months. So that's not interesting for us. We have some brand partnership deals with liquor brands. They do the sales for us. So far, they were also skeptic in paying upfront. So we hit a resistance. At the moment, we are at like 17 months till the booth is paid back, and we need to bring that to 1 to 2. That is my constraint.
The booth that you have, the sides of the wall, do you interesting. Yeah, part of me was thinking about that from an ad space perspective too, but no worries. With a business like yours, how much are the machines?
It's like 7K roughly.
Okay, yeah. I wonder if instead of owning them, you could lease them from the manufacturer.
It's probably also possible. I always have the feeling that it's better to own the stuff long term. But of course, we are constantly cash constrained, so it would also be a solution.
Yeah, I don't hate that because you're still doing the arbitrage. Because the thing is like if you own it, in 6 years it might be outdated and need to get, you know what I mean? Like you might need a refresh anyways. And what you really care about is just placing them and having the spread, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm curious what the lease payments would be because like if you didn't have to pay $7,000 each and just had to pay like $100 a month or $200 a month or I don't know what it would work out to be, that would basically like you'd be good to go.
True. Never. Because I always thought I want to own them, and that's a good idea.
The thing is, they're not an appreciating asset; it's a depreciating asset, right? Like 10 years from now, a photo booth is not like more valuable.
Yeah, that's true. Most of the time, we just change like the software and a little bit the life inside, but the cage, it's like it's been there for for 30, 40 years. It didn't change too much. Yeah, but I got you. I love the point. I never thought it that way. I always thought, okay, we buy them. There are definitely providers that do this. We will hit this and just do a test run with a few booths and see how the numbers are.
So this is a model issue. So in terms of like, because again, it's like you have a very understandable business. Like it's very straightforward and it's also very predictable, which means that you could just model this entire thing out from a cash flow perspective and say like, okay, well, we are going to pay more for the machine. We're going to pay $9,000 per machine instead of $7,000, but it's going to be over 5 years. That will materially improve our business and whatever. Like we just see this as cash flow streams, and your net should go up.
Yes.
Rather, your net free cash should go up.
Yes, definitely. Cash flow will go up. Of course, most of the available cash goes to building new machines at the moment.
Which, I mean, if you're trying to maximize for not paying taxes, you can basically get your income down to zero because you'd always just buy more machines.
Yes.
Right, but then you're not making any money. So it's a bit of a kind of a catch-22. I don't know, like where that business gets interesting in terms of the purchasing versus the leasing is you can do some fancy finance stuff so that you can Like it depends how you recognize the rev versus how you recognize the cost. Like there's some interesting things you can do there. But if like the constraint of the business, you basically have two options outside of changing a business that already works. Option one is that like you can get a capital injection, meaning like you sell a small part for a big amount of money and then use that cash to then get you from 80 to to 200 or 300 or whatever. Because like if you had $1 million, right, that would mean you'd get 13 per million. I'm just rough math, right? 13 things per 100K. So you get 130 more with $1 million, right? And so that would almost triple the business. Not quite, but almost. And so it's like maybe somebody would be willing to do that, but I would probably just look at the lease model if that was the constraint of my business, because if you can just do that and you can scale limitlessly, that's not too bad.
Why not?
Yeah.
True. Thanks, man. I think actually for this, I have a lot of questions, but for this, I'm totally fine and I will try it. Sometimes it's so obvious and we thought many ways, but not the obvious way. So thanks a lot for that.
I'm glad I could help, man. Dude, appreciate you. Thanks
cool.
for saying hey.
Alex, thanks, man. Bye.
You bet. All right, Denzel.
Hi, Alex.
What's up?
My name is Denzel. I sell Done With You and Done For You due to growth to Spanish-speaking business owners.
Okay.
Our core offer is a 10K euros 3-month program. We did 510K on 2025, and we are on pace for 700K on 2026. I want to hit 2 million per year. But what is stopping me is mainly lead supply, and that's giving me big changes on income every month. We've had some months where we've done 100K euros, then 35K euros next 2 months. We have 2 marketing channels, cold email and organic YouTube content. We run a 2 call close on cold email. So I have the metrics of the last 10 weeks, but I'll skip them for now. The funnel more or less works. The problem is the pond. I've checked on Apollo and the data says pure cold outbound has maybe 1 to 3 months of fresh ICP inventory left. And last week was our lowest volume in 2 months with 0 closing calls booked. So that's one thing. The second marketing channel is organic YouTube content. I have my personal channel, our podcast, and Meet's channel. Last year we did 7K to 100K views per month, more or less, and converted really well as inbound engine. But this year we can't get any channel out of
Denzel,
20,
what's the issue?
Yeah. First, how do I fix the big changes on income? Second, to 3x to 2 million, do I keep betting on the same market with high volume or hybrid model, lower personalization volume, hyper personalization on the best qualifying leads, or is this niche simply too small to 3x by squeezing it harder? Meaning
No, I mean, the niche isn't too small. You're helping business owners create YouTube stuff?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
the niche is not too small. Like, you're fine there. The volatility of your lead flow is because your organic is volatile. So if you have a good video that rips, you'll get more leads. If
Yeah,
you
but
have
most of our sales come from cold email.
You're not getting anything from your YouTube?
Almost nothing, which is ironic because that's what we do for clients. But yeah.
Yeah, that's a problem. But I won't even address
Yeah,
that.
that's the thing. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So no, I mean, cold email isn't too small. I mean, you can continue to grow it. I am surprised that your YouTube is not generating business if your whole point is that you can help people build YouTubes to generate business. That is somewhat concerning since it's literally what you sell. Right.
Yeah, I know. Because we have clients that in first month they are doing 500K views per month on long form, and that's awesome to lead generation, but we can do it with ourselves. It's a little bit strange. Yeah.
Do you put CTAs inside of your content?
Yep. 30% of the content, end of the video, first comment, first link of description. Yeah. Like the whole playbook.
Yeah, very interesting. I mean, fundamentally, you would need to do more, or you can run ads, right? Like if you're making content right now, it's very odd that your content's not converting. I don't have time to dive into why, but that's one thing. I don't know what the nature of the content you have is. Like, is it very clearly educational around this specific topic for that avatar, or is it just like getting views in general? I don't know. But that would be something to look at, like, basically it's showing that like if you're not able to sell from your organic, it means that you don't have influence, and so you have to figure out why you don't have influence. Because fundamentally, if you give people good advice that helps them, grow their business through YouTube, then they will want to give you money to help them. Yeah, like it's just that cold email, as you continue to scale, gets more and more complex, right?
Yeah.
And so there's nothing wrong with it. Like you could absolutely just do more, and you have to cycle through more domains and warm up more, all that whole game.
Yeah.
But you will eventually get into the world where you will run ads.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
because right now our whole world is cold email.
Yeah.
But if an account gets into spam, it's 2 months of suffering. So
Well, are you not spinning up multiple accounts at any given moment?
yeah, we have like I don't know how many, but between 5 and 10 domains with
Okay.
3 or 5 sub accounts on each domain. So,
Yeah. Okay.
we're doing that.
Yeah. But just so you know, like the nature of the business you have is that it's coaching, correct? Or is it done for you? No, it's done for you?
Yeah.
What's your-
Done with you, and then we have an upsell for
Done for you. Right. But when you have done with you, it's education, which means it's almost entirely transactional. And so if you want to scale the business, it's almost entirely scaling acquisition because no one's staying for more than a year. And so whatever your revenue is what you were able to sell that year, and then every month you have to start over at zero. It's one of the unfortunate things about education, right? Plus side is it has good margins. Downside is there's no recurring revenue, right? That's kind of the trade. But yeah, you'll probably have to venture into the ad side, and having the larger YouTube. The big red flag for me, I'll be really honest with you, is that you're using the thing that you sell your clients and you're not getting anything from it. Like I don't like that for a number of reasons.
I don't know if you want to dive into organic content because I know that's some time, but I think the main problem is on impressions because we've got great CTR, great retention. I think main problem could be on impressions because when the video is about how to grow on YouTube in general, we get some impressions, but low qualified leads, maybe gaming channel, kids
Sure.
with gameplays channels. If I do a video about how to get more leads, I
Yeah.
get 300 views. Like it's absurd.
Yeah. So I've got a buddy who I think he's like 25,000 on YouTube and he does $2.5 million a month.
Well,
Right. And so like views don't matter at all.
yeah, no.
At all. Well, 10% they matter. They only matter if everything in the content is catered to the correct avatar. Once all of that's right, then views matter. But until that, it's just getting people, it's showing people who aren't going to buy your thing stuff. Which, whatever. And so my bet is that the nature of the content you're making, like you said, you need to learn how to make the content that's getting 300 views to get 30,000 views.
Okay.
And I'm going to also bet that part of the reason that it's not doing as well is because you're not good enough at it yet. Meaning,
Okay.
if you want to teach the stuff, you're having a hard time teaching it because you're not succeeding at it very well. Like you could probably teach more about cold email than you can about making a YouTube.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Like, I understand it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And I'm not trying
understand
to
what
make you
you're
feel bad. I'm just saying like, where is
No,
your
yeah,
true
100%.
expertise? Like you're not generating 500,000 a year or 700,000 a year off your YouTube. You're generating that off cold email. And so like you're selling a customer acquisition channel that you are not using. And so your depth of your ability to talk about the subject, which is where you demonstrate expertise, is probably limited because it's not working.
Okay. But it's working for our clients. Like we do it work for our clients. It's not working
Some.
for us, but I understand you.
Some, not all.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
Right? And you have the business that would be the most catered to like making YouTube videos to get leads.
Yeah.
But so like I'll just be real with you. I think like you solving that is probably the most important thing. I think getting to 1 million, you can scale your cold email to 1 million, no problem. I think going beyond that is just going to take more and more kind of operational tech complexity. Your eventual state though will be getting to ads. That's where you'll end up.
All right. So should I just
Do
with
more
the
cold email.
cash?
Do
Okay.
more cold email. Improve the quality of your content that is the correct content that gets you the right leads. Don't make more videos that don't get leads. There's no point. Why? Right. There's no point.
Yeah, 100%. Okay.
And then do those two first. Get to 1 million. Do that, and then once you do that, then you can experiment with the ads.
Okay. So once I'm at 1 million per year, I can start with it. Understood. Thank you so much, Alex.
You bet, man. Appreciate you.
Bye.
All right, Eric. Nice nose strip.
Thank you, Alex. Hi, Alex. My name is Eric Roberts. I sell sustainable online weight loss coaching to busy professionals, 30 to 55. Last year, we did 3.2 million, and this year we would like to do 10 million. Not this year, but hopefully soon, like to do 10 million. But what's stopping me is consistent lead flow and signups to outpace structural churn. And if I don't solve this, I won't be able to continue to give my employees raises and great lives, which I take very seriously. And my parents retired this year, so I'd love to help them financially in retirement and just give them a really cool retirement life. So,
yeah, I've got good news and bad news. The bad news is you're never going to solve churn with weight loss. It's the nature of the beast. The good news is you don't need to focus on it anymore. You need to focus on everything else. So like, there are so few like massive true weight loss coaching businesses in existence because of the core problem that you have identified, which is it's a pure distribution game. Like if you're in weight loss, it's marketing. Now the people who make the most money in weight loss are the people who sell the plumbing to weight loss. Right, like so you could sell supplements, but it's not about weight loss. It's just like it's stuff, right? You could sell, peptides, and you'll make more there because it's stickier. Like people are happy to inject or take pills and powders and potions than they are about like coaching and changing their lives, right? And so I only say this because I lost too much of my life trying to solve this, and so there are just some businesses that are just not built for it. Because like fundamentally, even though it feels like a weight loss is kind of its own thing, it's just an education business. You're teaching someone. Like it's all it is. There's just so many people want to lose weight that it's an industry, but it's fundamentally just an education business. And so all of your focus should be on front end, which is about distribution and CAC reduction, under the assumption that what's your price point for your thing?
So we have a front end 8-week challenge that's between 500, 600 a month, and then 60 to 70 percent of people take up on a 6-month transformation package after that. So yeah, it's same price as well. And then if for the 30% of people who don't take up the 6-month one-on-one transformation, we have a downsell continuity and so on and so forth.
So are you selling one-to-many on the front end, or are you selling phone on the front end? You're selling. Yeah.
For the one-to-one, it's phone calls, and I do all the sales calls.
Interesting. Okay, so then on the front end for the 500 for the 8-week thing, that's like $500 or $600, right? You're not taking sales calls
per month, yeah.
Yeah. Are you taking sales calls for that too?
Yes, sir.
Jeez, it's a lot of sales calls.
Well, so it's not. So I average about 15 sales calls a week, and so I think that's where I'm like, I need to get more of those.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's pretty compelling that you're doing the numbers you are with only 15 sales calls a week, and you're still running the sales. Like that's actually very impressive. Yeah. So LTV is what? So if you have $1,500 on the front end, call it, right, is what you're making per customer, and then half of those are buying what price point on the back?
Same price point, just a 6 months. So somewhere between like
$3K.
If they pay in full, they get so $3,000 to $4,000, somewhere like that.
Okay, and what's attrition on that? Is like, because you said churn is a problem. So what's the issue?
I would say after those initial 6 months, or I guess the full 8 months, because 8 weeks plus 6 months, I think that's where it typically tends to drop off. But then it's just like we keep people for 8-ish months, but then it almost seems like every week I sign 10 to 15 people up, but then 13 people cancel. So it's just like I need to find.
Yeah, they leave on the end. Yeah, they leave on the backside. So I'll give you a simple tactic that we can do just to give you a little bump. But then the majority of your focus should be like basically do this first and then focus on the front. Which is, when are you selling the renewal on the back?
4 weeks in.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, like you want to have multiple hits at the piñata, right? You don't just have a smack at once. So 4 weeks is good, and it's 6 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I have you already are doing a back end ascension, right? And your front end upsell rates are fine. So I don't want to touch that part, but the back end part on the 6 month thing, week 4 works. I would also throw in any milestone that happens, and then halfway, and then last chance. And so last chance should be the month before cancellation. Those would be the 4 times. And do you have coaches right now?
Yes, sir. I have
Yeah,
10
so
coaches.
I would have my meeting with them, like your sales meeting with them at the halfway point, and then it's positioned so that you're like, hey, this is just my way for doing quality assurance, making sure that like you're having a good experience. Tell me what's going on. And the close that we use there is basically all roads lead to Rome, which is that like, if things are going great, let's keep the party going. If things are not going great, you need more help, so let's keep the party going. Like either way, like you have a reason to buy, and then. Yeah, last chance is last chance. So we want to do that before they end the thing, because once they're done, completed their 6 months, it's a new buying cycle, and so we'd rather catch them right before any of that stuff happens. So we want to have multiple licks of the ice cream cone. Beyond fixing that, right, and that's probably just going to get you a lift. The big thing after that is probably going to be like, and if you want, you can improve the offer on the back. So it's like, listen, and you could justifiably say this, which is just that it costs us a lot of time to get you onboarded, way less to maintain you, because we had to do all this work together. And so basically it's double your money on the back. And so you can sell a year on the back for the same price as you sell the 6 months. So it's like buy 6, get 6, as just a more compelling offer on the back. I'd back pocket it, because again, the cost of, you know this, by the time it's month 6 or 7, like they're kind of on autopilot. And so your gross margin will still be fine. Okay, that's what I would do on the back end. The only, like, you're in a distribution game, which is either going to be from brand or media arbitrage in terms of your ability to buy media. A lot of the big brands will typically have, you probably don't want to get into the peptide stuff, but that is crushing right now. Just saying, it is.
Well, it's funny. I actually partnered with somebody who does blood work and GLP-1 and peptide and stuff, so I'm considering it. But
yeah, I would look at it, because I think the LTV on this customer is significantly higher. It also allows you to have kind of pseudo medical positioning, which allows you to have more price, flexibility. Basically, I'd probably do all that back end stuff first, and then I would go gas the front end. Because with the enhanced LTV, enhanced gross margin, and hopefully some stickiness on the kind of medical stuff, that should give you more cash to be more aggressive. Because if we can add 50% to LTV or lifetime gross profit, if we just did that would be pretty material. Because that alone would allow you to just spend that increase on more customers. Are you running ads?
So I literally just started running ads 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Everything's been organic beyond that.
Yeah. Once you get into the ad side, that's going to take you from 3 to 10. Pretty straightforward if you've done this all on organic up to this point.
Mm-hmm. And then with the ads, I did all the math this morning, roughly a 135 CAC. And so are you at that point? What's that?
That's great, dude.
Okay.
That's phenomenal.
So I should just spend more on ads.
Yeah, that's a stupid CAC, dude.
Okay.
It's a tiny CAC, bro. Tiny, the teeniest of CACs.
I've been told that in many ways. Cool. Okay, sweet, cool.
No, dude,
that's super helpful.
I would do these things to the business anyways, regardless. But yeah, gas the shit out of it.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that.
100%.
And congratulations to you and Layla on your son.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Of course.
Do we have more nicotine? Don't worry, I'm gassing up for you, Dorina. I'm going full steam. Eric's tiny cat got me super distracted. You grab some. All right, cool. Let's do it.
All right, so context. I place trained content operators and editors with service businesses, coaches, and founders.
Yeah.
Our operators are based in Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
We handle full content management, including strategy, scripting, editing, short form, long form, and volume now. We build the strategy, place the person, and then we manage them for you on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
Right now, clients pay $6,500 upfront and then $2,500 per month.
Okay.
We are tracking towards $800K this year
There we
at
go.
65 margin.
The first time we
All
talked, you
in-
were at like 200-ish, right?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
There you go, a little 4x.
So, thank you.
Congrats,
But still off referrals though. So
Yeah, okay.
we've been doing really well, but right now the biggest question is how do we build a system for client acquisition? I'll explain why we haven't built it yet, because it's been kind of chicken and egg. You get more clients, and then on the back end, you're like trying to make sure everybody's working really well, and we.
By the
get
way, that's
qual-
how service businesses work.
Really?
That's how it works.
But it's just like, yes, chicken and egg. And
Yeah.
the stakes, I know I needed to mention stakes, they're personal. Obviously, my family from Ukraine, so there's a war back home. I support my parents right now, pay
Yeah.
for mortgage,
Cool.
make sure that they're well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's where we are. If you had 90 days right now to grow the business to 1.5 this year and then get it to $1 million a month, what would you do? What the channel would you activate to actually get the leads? And also apologize for background noises. Somebody decided to do
fine.
renos.
I can't hear anything.
So,
You're fine.
okay.
Well, how many customers can you handle on a per week basis?
Well, now we can handle more. So right now we have 45 people on MRR, and then we can probably take 10 more people every week. So finally, I think we kind of fixed stuff on the back end. So that's
Okay.
solved.
And what's churn?
3%
Monthly?
a year.
A
No,
year?
year. Mhm.
Yeah, great. Okay. So, I mean, your LTV is absurd, right? I mean, you're looking at, 60, 100 plus, virtually unlimited LTV for the purpose of the conversation. Let's pencil it at 12 months. So it's like you're making at least 30, but your gross margins are a little lower. So you have to pay the editor and whatnot. So what are the gross margins?
The gross margin?
Yeah.
So 65.
Okay, 65%. So they're $1,000 and you make 1,500 extra to like run everything else.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. That's fine. Okay, so you do probably have a little bit of pricing sensitivity there. I won't get into it, but you probably could get up to 3, but I'll leave that alone for now. Just because again, when I see that you're at 3% annual, you're fine. You probably no one's leaving, right? Because you're obviously doing a good job on the stuff. So we just have to increase your demand. And so I'm assuming, are you running your model? Are you running your people to make you content?
Now, yes. So now, yes, I have a lot of content ready to go. To be honest, yeah, it's because I wasn't running it because I was afraid that everything's gonna break on the back end. And with AI now releasing stuff every day, we needed to make sure everybody's on board and know what's going on. So I haven't been doing it, but now I have the team ready to go and we are implementing this week. So
yeah. So if I were to take the business over, I would be going aggressively on the content, obviously. That way you're eating your own dog food, you're demonstrating the stuff. And the majority of the content should be about what content to make and what formats are working well right now, and you're looking for business owners, right? Yeah, to generate leads, right? So it's you want to show basically everything from basically the entire process up to the sale, how the content machine works, so to speak. And just go really in detail. Don't worry about the views. Just worry about making sure that the person that watches it is oh, this was good. And you want to demonstrate that someone sees that and is I don't want to fucking deal with that. I'll just have her do it for me. That's what you want someone to think when they watch your stuff. But if I had to double the business, I would just run ads, right? I would make the content. Why not? Because I would take that and then those become the ads anyway. So you have to make creative either way. And so you might as well just make them as content and then find the good ones and then just run those as ads directly. But that's about it. You've got a good business. You have absurd churn for the nature of what your thing is. Expect your churn to go up when you're getting to colder audiences, that are not referral. So up to this point, you've only sold on referral. Which is wonderful and also terrible because it means you've never actually sold. Because people are they already know the price, they already know you, they already have an embedded testimonial who's a friend of theirs, so they're just yeah, I'll just do that. I wonder If you really wanted to, you could probably, this is a little bit of a riskier play, but kind of interesting, is like you could say, hey, I'm going to be bumping the price to $2,500 to $3,000 a month. But if you send me a referral, I'll keep it your old price.
Okay. Quick question on the ads. Right now we try run ads, but everybody who we attract, they're kind of less than 1 million a year right now. My ideal client, million plus, they probably run ads. They tried hiring, they know it sucks. They don't want to manage people, and they just need somebody who is going to come in and just take over and do content for them.
Just say that. That's the ad.
Oh, okay.
That's the ad. If you're a $1 million business owner and you run some ads right now and you've probably tried content but it sucks and you don't want to manage the person, I have a whole team out of Ukraine. I have 3% annual churn, so people actually think my stuff's good. And that way you can just have it outsourced for less than you'd be able to do in the US.
Okay. Okay, perfect. And would you lock in people for longer? Because right now it's month to month, so they pay.
You don't need to. The upfront, the fact that you have an upfront that's 2 or 3 months of expenses is fine for now. And the thing is that there's contracts are not enforceable, at least in the U.S. Not really. Like you're not gonna put people to collections. I doubt it. So, like if you want, it's only just for like the mental commitment around it. But no, I would say right now, I would like if I were to do one in your place, it'd probably be 3 months. It wouldn't do 12. I would do like 3 month minimum because listen, if you think that you're gonna get results in 30 days, like this is not for you.
Yeah. Okay. And so would you partnership route at all, or just like ads and content right now? Don't worry about partners. I had partnered up with somebody and I was getting a lot of referrals from them.
Yeah.
Really well. So would you just double down and find communities to partner up and just help?
Yeah, I remember we talked about this a while ago. Yeah, more of that is probably a great first step.
Okay.
So
and just kind of
ads, we would just say like, again, I don't want you to do all three of those things. It's too much. So you doing Qualium, good idea. It's you eating your own dog food. You got to hire one more person. You're the customer. Fantastic. That one's off the board. Just get that done. I think you then doing outreach to businesses or forums or groups or whatever, or school communities that have your specific type of avatar is a good start. Because you only need a couple of those for like you need 2 or 3 of them, and it's like great, we just tripled the business.
perfect. And lastly, for the ads, what would you spend? What were the KPIs that you would be looking for?
I would just try to break even on the first transaction. If you can do that, you're good.
Easy. Okay. Do you have a second for one more last question?
It's got to be the lastest of the questions.
Lastest. Okay, promise you. So anything you would recommend on the back end to make sure the quality consistently stay high and nothing breaks? So once we get extra 100 clients, like we can actually sustain the quality, keep getting referrals, and do not go down this churn.
So in quality management, there's kind of 2 schools of thinking for QA. One is that everything gets reviewed. The second way is that it is a random number of things get reviewed from like a product line. And so you can just pull one off of the rack, and as long as they know that every so often random assets that they're making are getting pulled and making sure that they're following or adhering to a checklist, that will allow you to at least enforce it with more scale. But I would imagine that a lot of it is just the checklist that you're having them follow, like make sure there's a hook, make sure those, and then just grading them against that checklist. And what will happen is just that over time that checklist will improve, is that you will have more things that they will need to adhere to in order to increase the overall quality of all of the shorts.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you. Next time we talk, I will be at 1.5.
Rock and roll, Dorina. Congrats.
Thank you. Bye.
A little quadruple, not bad. What's up, Jeff?
How's it going, Alex? Nice to meet you. So my name's Jeff. I sell online weight loss coaching for moms.
Dude, I'm on an online weight loss coach kick today. Jeez. All right.
I know. So last year I did 288,000. My goal, I feel like, is simple. I need to get to 600K so my wife can keep staying home with our 4 little kids. And honestly, so I don't become a failed entrepreneur like my dad, which is kind of emotional. But this is my version of scale or fail, and I need your help here. So. My main constraint is acquisition, and so I've tried 3 paths. I started with organic local Facebook groups, and that got me to like 20 to 25K months. Started trying local meta ads, and now I run national meta ads. The local has died down with the organic. The local ads, the cost per lead was really high. The CAC was over 1,000, and so now I'm on to national ads. What do you
CAC
mean?
was at 1,000 for local.
Yeah,
Something's
because
wrong
the
there.
cost.
Something's wrong.
You-
what was the offer like? Were you doing like? Walk me through that, because the weight loss leads right now are like 20-ish local.
Yeah.
I still have
Yeah,
my pulse there because the gym launch.
So what I was doing was I was running a lead magnet funnel to SMS. And so they went to my landing page, SMS, got them onto a sales call. And so I just couldn't, my creatives were fatiguing really fast, and I just couldn't get the traction that I was looking. And so I switched to the national side. And now my CAC is at 750, and like my cost per lead is half. So like instead of 20, it's now down to like $8 for cost per lead, and it's the best I've ever been at. But basically, I'm in a place where I'm trying to figure out what to do for acquisition, because I've tried a bunch of things, and I just hear you in the back of my head saying more, better before going new, and I'm doing a ton. So like, my question for you is just like, if you were like, Jeff, this is what I would do to get to consistent 50K months. What would you do? Like, how would you set it
What's
up?
the price point?
2,700 for 16 weeks.
Yeah.
I close at 40%, and then 50% re-sign. Sorry, we're about to have a tornado outside our house right now.
You're good.
I'm
I'm going to say something wild for you. It's going to be very different than I think you're expecting. So I ran something called a hybrid model at Gym Launch for a long time. And the reason was for the exact type of situation that you're in. Now, to be clear, it's not going to be a model that's going to get you to $10 million, $20 million a year. But it's like, if you want to get to like 600 with like very good margins, like this model works. All right. And so
That's
basically,
all I'm looking for.
cool. So all you have to do is get any local gym in the area to give you an office that you can use. And like most gyms will just, like couple $100 a month. Like this should not be, it's very cheap. The reason for that is because, again, I'm talking speed to money and risk associated with it. There are more skills that you need to have in order to advertise nationally. Like you probably saw 2 of the calls before this, right? There's both of those guys have large, Instagrams or YouTubes or whatever. And then there's slightly more complex funnels. There's targeting, a whole bunch of stuff, right? With local, you really just need to go lead gen, call them up, send them a video, meet them in person, close. Like that's basically it. Like it's that simple. And you can fill your calendar up with that stuff. And so the pitch is basically, you need fitness, nutrition, accountability. I'm sure you're familiar with that component of it. But the reason that I'm meeting you in person is that you can like have trust, and you know that I'm in the area if you need anything. But I don't want you to buy another gym membership. That's not my goal here. Because at the end of the day, there's only 3 hours a week that you're at the gym. Our time is for the other, whatever the remainder hours are, right? Like that's what I'm here for, because that's where you're getting fat. And that's basically the whole focus, which is like I target the other, whatever the number of hours per week. And so we'll meet in person, and then you can basically check with them 2 times, 3 times throughout the the 16 weeks, and then just use the in-person sale to sell the renewal.
So you're saying like
That
when you
is
say you do this
the
at a gym, so, like, they're
easiest,
joining-
highest likelihood. Like because
Yeah.
it takes you don't have to have very good creative. You don't have to have any complex funnels. It's like you generate leads, you send them a video, they show up in person, and then you sell the big ticket thing. That's it.
So it's like when you say that, it's like I'm just running ads locally to have them basically have a conversation. Like you're interested in basically getting back in shape, and let me tell you how.
Yeah, you can call them on the phone, set them, and then meet with them in person. So basically, you have a set, video, close.
Okay. And when you say, the part that I'm trying to understand is the local gym for office part. So like, do I need to be part of a gym?
No, you don't need to be a
environment?
part of it. It's just basically just having a place to meet in person, and a coffee shop is a little weirder than just having an office that, like a space that you can go to. But like, again, I can't teach all the things that you need to go national right now. And you're like, I have to get to 600K. Like, you can do that with very little. Like, you already know how to sell. And so getting leads to trust you local is much easier. And so it's just schedule, I'll meet you at this place. You send them a video beforehand. And then when they walk in the door, floor to ceiling testimonials, sell them.
Okay. And then the last question on that would be, when it comes to running ads, there's so many ways you can do it, between like VSLs, statics, with like, right, videos. Like, what would you say is like the best way to go? Because I always try too much there.
There is no best best way. I mean, the best way is the ad that converts. And so there are statics that are converted. Like right now, we're running a ton of statics. We're also running a bunch of video. Again, I'm trying to meet you where you're at right now, rather than say like, okay, this is how we get to 10 million a year. This is not how we get to 10. But there's almost no moving parts in this thing. Like the level of creative that you need to have to beat at a local level is much easier. What area do you live in?
The Chicagoland area, the
Okay,
suburbs
so you've
out
got,
there.
but you've got people there. I mean, so that's a decent sized city.
Yeah.
So if you drop a pin on the map, you'll have you'll be okay. Okay, yeah, because if you're like in bumfuck wherever, then that I might have actually had to recant my opinion.
No, yeah, it's legit. Yeah. All right. Well, this changes absolutely everything that I've been building for the last 6 months. So I just have to now.
Before we light everything on fire, that's half for the audience too. If I like had to do it, and to be fair, like I say that because that's whenever I like had to make money in my life when I had none, I always did this. It's just because local is the fastest speed to money, and you have the highest ROAS locally. The issue with local is that it's more difficult to scale, right? But in terms of return on ad spend, like it's much more common to get 10, 20, 30x returns on local than you are in other markets, because you don't have to compete against other players, right? And like that's the advantage. Okay, so before we go light everything on fire, okay, we'll take 2 breaths. All right. So right now, you currently are doing what?
I'm currently running only national ads
Okay.
as direct offers through an Instagram DM funnel.
Okay.
That has gotten me, this month is my best month. I spent $6K on ads.
Okay.
I'm at 750 CAC,
Alright.
and I closed 8 clients. So like I've generated 25 front end from that.
On 6K in ads. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so like a 4x ROAS. So when I talked with Ed Turney, I'm in the VIP Advantage. He's
Yeah.
like, dude, light that shit up, like
Yeah.
make things happen and
Yeah.
go all in on that.
Yeah.
And so my initial thing was going to be here being like, hey, was that the acquisition strategy? I'm like, okay, he said light this up. I'm running
Yeah.
statics to IGDM, but I'm like, do I do that?
No,
Do I
dude, if
test
you're
via
running
cell funnel,
4x,
webinar funnel?
no, dude, if you're running 4x, then just double what you're willing to spend. I mean, then you'll probably be fine. You're not going to run out of people. You're in weight loss, dude. I mean, like you can run that, and the next thing train is you're gonna need somebody else to do DM sets for you.
Yeah. And you're okay with the IGDM funnel
That's fine.
instead of trying a different one?
Yeah, it's fine. I say that like I took what you said of like I have to like that is what I would do because
Yeah, no, I
I
appreciate
like
that.
But you already have a 4x ROAS funnel and you're spending 6K. It's like let's just spend like 12 or 15. So yeah, we're not gonna light everything on fire.
No, we're going to do both though, because my clients want an in-person place. They want a hybrid. Actually, people want a hybrid small gym that they can go to where there's stuff I can run with there. So I appreciate that. I don't want to take more time, but this is helpful. Thank you.
Okay, hold on. I want to make sure that we don't let's slow down for a second.
All right.
You're running ads nationally. But people are not coming to you in Chicago, correct? Like you're selling people in Missouri as much as
I'm selling people all over. So initially
Okay.
I only did local. Word of mouth was
Yeah,
huge.
yeah.
They loved that I was local, but then again, it was too expensive with the way I was testing. I wasn't good at it. I got new to marketing.
I got you. You finally got something that worked. We're not going to change it. So I don't think you do both. That's why I wanted to like catch you on this. Like you don't do both, and put all the stuff I said into like a lockbox of like really interesting Alex shit. And so what? You have 4x ROAS. You spent 6K. Now you're going to take some of that, excess 18K and see if next month you can spend 10, and see if you get a little bit better, improve some of the DM stuff. You will, in time, need 1, 2, 3 DM setters, and that can probably take you to, well, for sure 100K a month. But that was your goal.
Honestly, I don't even care about a hunt. It sounds stupid, but like I just want to feed the family and be a good dad.
That's for
all I'm
now.
trying to do here.
That's for now, and then you're going to get addicted to the game. But I get where you're at, dude. I get where you're at.
Yeah. All right.
Don't overcomplicate this. You have a 4x ROAS. We need to put more into the 4x so that we have a bigger number to 4x. All right, and just don't get afraid if you have a bad month or something. All right, like you got to stay aggressive on it. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Everything
Thank
else
you.
I
appreciate
said
it.
will apply to somebody else who was listening. For you, just spend more money on the ads that we're actually working on the DM funnel.
Thanks, Al.
All right,
Appreciate it.
Cool. Tyler.
What's going on, dude?
What's wrong?
I'm looking into getting weight loss for moms.
Are you serious?
No.
I was like, Jesus Christ, dude. If I do another weight loss business, I'm gonna.
No, dude. So I sell acquisition systems, predominantly the IGDM funnel to content
I
creators.
literally
that have
just saw the
strong-
thing behind you. Jesus. All right.
Dude, that's from Kyle. Kyle?
Hey, Kyle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I sell acquisition systems, but mostly the IGDM funnel to content creators that have strong organic followings, but struggle to monetize their high ticket offer. The problem that I have is getting clients consistently amazing results. And so the activation point I've deemed is if they hit a record month in their business with cash, they seem to stay forever. If they don't, then it's basically like 3, 4, 5 months, depending how well I can navigate the relationship. But that's the problem I'm running into. I keep trying to raise price, I keep closing, and it's just more pain in the plants. So
yeah, it sounds like you just need to nail the first 30 days. So basically, there's two components. One is who they are, and the second is what they did. And so if we have a specific type of avatar that consistently does better, and those people do a set of things, then it's like, how do we get only those people to only do those things, so that we can get as many of those people as, like, fundamentally gym launch at the same concept, right? Which is our average cash collected for the first 2 years, I think was $30,000 in the first 30 days using our stuff, and then I think over time, because CAC went up just from ads and whatnot, I think, like, as of right now, I think it's something between, it's like 15 or 16K in the first 30 days. But for us, we just knew if we got somebody to close a high ticket sale in the first 7 days, that was the emotional shift. As they go from selling, $500 things or $100 things to sell a $2,000 thing, it's like, holy shit. It's like their whole paradigm changed. And so for you, it's probably similar to that. And so the churn bucket, it's like something that's just helpful in terms of thinking about churn is like, churn feels like this big amorphous monster, but it's much more, how do I get them to 6 months? Like, churn after 6 months across all memberships is 2% per month. But the issue is people look at blended churn between all different cohorts, and so they barely get anyone to the 6 month mark. But people past month 6, they churn at a very, very low rate. So it's really not how do I cut churn in half, it's how do I get them to 6 months. It's just a much easier frame to think through. And so that means that the first 6 months needs to be very, very curated. And the 3 drop-off points are day 30, day 90, and then at 6 months. Those are the 3 points that you have to, like, drag someone through. And so do you give them the offer to make?
So there's 2 primary people that I work with. The first is that they're brand new into high ticket sales and they have a very vague offer. Them, yes. The second is like fitness coaches is a great example where they already have an offer, they already have a lot of stuff, and I just run it for them better. I tend to get better, longer lasting results and like better clients from the first, but they're technically smaller and I have to do more for them.
Basically, we want as much of this to be as turnkey as possible so that there's just fewer variables for them to mess up.
So the first group where it's like, for example, I have a client that had, basically he's done like 300K over the first 6 months, and prior to that he did like none. And he was able to sell. Like, I get him people on his calendar and he can close them, and he just keeps increasing price. But if they can't sell, then it's like, doesn't matter how many people I talk.
Then maybe one of the requirements for working with you is that they have sold someone before.
Does it matter the ticket price? If they're typically like,
I mean, if they've gotten something, if they've
1K.
gotten someone to give them money, I mean, it'd probably just be over the phone, I'm guessing. So that would probably be the requirement. Again, it's like, I want to find the simplest thing that separates the winners from the losers. And then you just re-engineer the funnel to say that up front. Like, you have to have these 3 things.
Okay.
You must be.
And so then forego the people that can pay in full, and like technically bigger clients are not as good.
Not as good because they don't make as much money?
The bar is higher to keep them around longer. A lot of the people that have done DM funnels in the past, they're like, dude, 2 years ago I did 80K in a single month.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, I'm not working with you. Versus
well,
the other side is like, dude, I've never sold.
Yeah, it's an expectation thing though. It's just like, yeah, 2 years ago, and then what have you done last month and the month before that and the month before that? Okay, great. So let's set appropriate expectations here, because like, no one cares what you used to bench.
Okay.
But The question is, what's the limiter of the business?
The limiter is the pickier I get, the harder it is to get customers in the door.
I mean, that's
The
how
less
business
picky
works.
I am, the less they stay.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, customer acquisition is, we partner with like companies that teach people how to do DM setting foreign, like Eastern Europe and things like that. And we have them come in and do cold outbound for me. So we're sending 3,500, 4,000 messages a week to ICP. And then they go through a funnel, show up on my calendar.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're too big, they're either already gonna have a setter or they're, just not even gonna see messages via cold outbound.
Yeah. I mean, what stops you from doing 8,000?
Yeah, we're slowly growing that. Slowly is the wrong word. We're actively pushing that really hard, getting to.
I mean,
the
either
goal is
sell
to
more
get
units or you
4,000.
make them worth more. Right? That's the the game. You sell more units, you make them worth more. Like those are the two levers that you have. And so, if we're not changing pricing anytime soon, then we have to sell more units. Like the 4,000 DMs that are getting sent is a relatively arbitrary number in my mind. You could have said 100. You could have said 100,000. Like it's just same.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to run out of people, though. I promise you that.
Okay.
So yeah, I think you could get more aggressive on that side. As long as they have a scalable solution on that side, there's like really nothing that stops them, which is why I'm a big fan of outbound in general, because it scales linearly.
Okay, so more cold outbound, and then the second piece is set better expectations with people that have already done well in the past, and the last piece is make it more turnkey.
On the offer
But you
and
have to
fast
close
cash
them
side.
fast.
Yeah. And I would probably ask more questions on the application around their experience selling shit.
I see. Okay.
And then you can set
I can do that.
expectations, which you've never sold, dude. It's probably going to take you a month to learn how to sell, and we're just gonna. It's okay though, because it's.
Oh no, I.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean them selling? I was
Them.
like, dude, I've sold.
No, I know. I'm saying, but them.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to
Okay.
set the expectation. Like people
Okay,
only
I
leave
see.
when the expectations don't match reality. So the goal is, and this is the push and pull of selling, which is you promise really high, then you get more closes, but people back out because you promise really high, right? The perfect world is that everybody just buys, but then they don't buy at the price you want because you promise nothing. And so this is the delicate balance, if you will.
I see. I understand. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet, man.
I appreciate you.
Mutual. All right, Alex.
Hi, Alex. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Hard to lose with a
I'm
name
Alex.
like that.
It's a great name. I own a real estate transaction coordination business. So we provide admin support to realtors. They only pay us when they actually have a closing.
Okay.
So we did $1 million in revenue last year,
Cool.
and then we had 250,000 gross profit. And I want to get to
Gross
4 million
profit?
in before taxes. So
You mean
gross
net profit?
Net profit. Thank you. I'm still learning.
No, you're good. It's like
Yeah.
before tax. No, that's net. All right, cool. All right.
Cool. Yeah. So 250 before taxes and everything.
Okay.
I'd like to get to 4 million because I'd like to be at 1 million.
Cool.
Yeah. The problem is, every sale in the business comes back to me. So me going out to events,
Yeah.
meeting realtors, everything. And so I'm not sure how to continue to scale when there's just one of me. I don't think it makes sense to bring on like an SDR or anyone to actually replace me in sales for a while. 70% of the business is because of me going out building relationships. About 20% of my new business comes from organic social, and 10% is miscellaneous other sources. How do I scale?
Well, we need more of something.
Yeah.
And you're at the point where, are you local? You're local, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So local is the only exception I have to the single channel concept that I have,
Okay.
because there's only so many people that you are not super constrained, but you're relatively constrained by the size of the market that you're in, right? What area you live in?
I'm in the Twin Cities, but we also do Wisconsin.
Okay.
I'm open to expanding as well.
You know, well, is the service remote?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, that's interesting. Are there laws that are different between the different states in terms of filings and whatnot?
There are.
Okay.
So, but they're all pretty much the same, but there are some small differences.
The thing is I don't know if you heard earlier that when I was mentioning about the local weight loss stuff, running local ads is like really easy.
Okay.
I don't think you'd have that much trouble running local ads or even just like statewide ads. When I say local, right? It's like Minnesota Realtors, we centralize, we do all the, like literally just state the offer. Because I haven't actually heard of that many people who do what you do. And like I see real estate companies like all the fucking time. And obviously Sharon's my partner, so I'm tangentially touching that world all the time. I think like if you wanted to get from 1 to 4, you would either have to be significantly more violent on your, basically you would have to do nothing but go get business. Yeah. But what you're lacking is a point of leverage. And so getting more for what you put in. And so we'd probably want your calendar to just be filled with appointments, and then all you do is close. And then if you did that, you probably get to 4. What's churn on the realtors who work with you?
14% annually.
Yeah. An interesting strategy you can do is just look at the MLS and then look at the top people by volume. And you probably have an idea of what volume customers like, do best, because over a certain size they have their own team and whatever. And then I would probably look at some sort of cold invite to them and maybe do like a webinar to them. That would be like the cheapest thing you could do. And then all you have to do is just confirm them. Basically, like you just blast them, right? So it's like email, call, text, follow up to get them to a small group, call it presentation, and then present the thing, or you could do it one-on-one. But I think one-to-many would give you a little bit more leverage. But either way, we need leverage in this. We need leverage in your acquisition, right? So it's like you're going to post content would be a way, but you can't serve the states outside of, Minnesota and Wisconsin. So it's like, all right, I don't know if I want to do content per se. We could, but like, let's maybe not that. So we could do ads or we could do outbound as our 2 kind of higher leverage acquisition channels that we can pick from. If you feel better with ads, then we can do ads. But either one works. That's kind of my point.
Yeah. So it's just pick the one that you feel most comfortable with, roll forward with it, see the results.
Yeah.
If that doesn't work, then pivot to the other one.
Yeah, local ads aren't that tough. They're because the targeting is already taken care of, right? So you have the geo targeting, and then you put the call out in terms of who you're looking for, and it's like it's pretty straightforward. Minnesota Realtors, like it's pretty obvious. And so if you wanted to, what would I do? I'd probably run it by city. So I'd probably call it like, instead of running the state, I would probably run Twin Cities is number 1. I don't know what the other cities in Minnesota are, but like
just one, just okay. Minneapolis.
Yeah, whatever the other cities are, I'd run call it 50-mile radius ads from there, because then it'll appear hyper local. And if you are there, then you might meet them in person if you need to close. What's your sales velocity right now in terms of number of new customers?
So I signed 73 new customers last year out of 87 appointments. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So the close rate's fine. I mean, it is contingency based, so that's nice. You just don't want people who aren't doing any volume, because that's just a pain in the ass.
Exactly.
Right. And so I would just say like realtors who sold over 4 homes last year.
Okay. Just being specific.
Yeah.
What would you recommend spend wise? Right now I only spent like $8,000 last year for all of marketing and events. I've never spent $1 in ads.
Yeah.
Where would you start if you were me?
We have to look at LTV, right? So what do you make per customer per year?
There's a big gap. So our average is $1,600 a year, but like my top 24 clients was $22,000 on average.
Yeah. So what we have to do is make sure that the requirements are towards the top end. So when you put the call outs, it's like you have to be clear, have to be a realtor, have to be, doing at least 4, or you could say the production volume, whatever. Either way, if you're doing over, probably $1 million, I don't know, in production is probably what you need as the true minimum. You can make it 5. I mean, it's kind of up to you.
Okay.
I would start higher, and then if you don't, lower it rather than starting lower.
Yeah.
Because you might be surprised. You might be surprised. So maybe start at 5 million or 10 million in production. And then the nice thing is that you're local, so like you could probably just run it straight to a video and a scheduler, and then just call them as soon as they book. And you can still follow up with all the other leads anyways. In terms of spend, it's always directly related to lifetime gross profit. And so you should, if they're doing, call it over $1 million in production, that's probably like 2 or 3 houses. So that means that as soon as they get their first sale, you should be able to, like, I would target trying to get paid back within 6 months or less. It's just the nature of the business you're in. The only other consideration I have, what's the gross profit?
So we had 250,000 profit before
Net.
taxes and expenses,
Net.
and then I had
Wait,
40,000
before
left in the
taxes
bank
and
after.
expenses? What's that mean?
So, Snowy Day Fund. So seasonality here in Minnesota, you're gonna love this.
Yeah.
I have to stash away cash to pay my team in Q1 because they're all W-2 employees in order
Okay.
to get us to the busy season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So net was, or like after saving up for the Snowy Day Fund, it was 40,000 cash remaining.
Yeah. You're thin right now.
Mm-hmm. I just raised prices.
Yeah. I don't
yeah.
like, yeah. There's some risk, right? And so outbound is cheaper. Outbound is cheaper.
Okay.
And so that might be where I would start.
Okay.
I'd probably start with outbound. So basically cold call, cold email, text, those realtors. That's probably the angle that I would go with, because I don't want you to risk the nest egg that you have right now. I do think you should probably raise prices, and I would look hard at costs, because I'm betting you're underpriced. Because if you're contingency based and you're running 25% margins, like you're taking a lot of risk on as a business owner as is.
We are. I'm the highest in the market right now. And I do intend on continuing to raise up. I'm looking at the offer. I'm coming out to one of the offers, workshops.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to see how do we differentiate, because right now it's a total red ocean. We all offer the same thing. It's commoditized, and yet,
Yeah.
like, I'm still getting people. My signing rate's still great.
I would go outbound. I would probably start with outbound, because it'll be cheaper for you. You'll have more reps of iteration before like wanting to spend on ads, because you will lose that money 100% for a minute before you figure it out. All right.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, Alex. Appreciate you. All right, Ali, you're the I think the last of the Brohicans.
How are you, Mr. Alex? My name is Ali. How's your Monday?
Good.
Beautiful Monday.
What's cooking?
So my question is about strategy.
All right.
I was a regular employee. I took over, managed the restaurant, and in about a year, I doubled that restaurant, and we had a very good profit sharing deal.
Great.
So thankfully,
What'd you do to double it? You run ads or what?
No, just ran the basics actually.
Okay.
Like very simple, fixed prices, mainly actually increased prices. Took your advice on that, but fixed prices, fixed the, cost inside, improved recipes, just the basics. I didn't do anything crazy actually. No, nothing about ads actually with restaurants. The restaurants are old, so it's doing fine.
Yeah.
So now I'm actually operating 3 restaurants with those. So I have 2 co-owners, and so I'm on a profit sharing deal and amendment deal in 2 of the main restaurants, and then there's a third one that I own a little bit of not a little bit, like a substantial amount of equity in it, like more than a third.
Okay.
Doing well, things are moving forward, but I don't see those concepts scaling, and I'm kind of tied down as to what I should do in the future. I spoke with Ed. He suggested I go all in on a 4th location all by myself, so I can retain all the equity.
Yeah.
It's pretty tough because good income right now. So I don't want to kill all the cash coming in as I.
What do you
grow.
want? What do you want?
I want to build a big restaurant chain, built around a healthy concept, but still very good food. Maybe $1 billion enterprise value.
Fast casual, maybe $1 billion
Fast casual.
enterprise. Just
That's my goal.
Toss out a
That's
Billy.
actually-
Yeah. We call that a casual Billy Savante. Okay. All right. So fast casual is what you're focused on?
I'm in fast casual. We do potatoes, we do burgers, we do fish, we do chicken. I know I know a fair bit about those.
Yeah, you're basically gonna need to enter the franchise world. Not have to. That's not true. You don't have to enter the franchise world. I don't want to say that. But the key to those models is huge simplicity and nailing the very limited things that you have on the menu. Like I think the absolute I don't know. Have you studied Chick-fil-A?
Oh yeah, yes, definitely.
Have you studied Raising Cane's?
Sure thing. Yeah.
Those
12 item menu. I was actually watching your video about this a couple days ago.
Yes.
12 item menu. Yeah.
Yeah, those guys need to become your your restaurant heroes. Like, you need to just only consume the stuff that they put out, but it's all about radical simplicity. You can absolutely become a billionaire in the restaurant space. There are people who have done that, and in the fast casual space, there are.
Just after 45 years.
Yeah, it's gonna take time, dude. I mean, like, sorry, it's not gonna be a 6-year $1 billion exit, man. There's only 3,000 billionaires on Earth out of 8 billion. So, whatever. I think the advice that I gave is sound. What it comes down to is you need to nail the model.
Okay.
Like, you've learned from these 3 stores, you've learned from these other people. You have to have a unique model that is as simple as humanly possible, which is what you have to build it day one for scale.
Okay. So that's actually what I'm working on. I've acquired a 4th location.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm also in trouble in like trying to figure out what to do with my co-owners in the other 3 places, because they do take a little bit of my time.
Yeah.
And I own no equity in 2 of them.
Yeah.
Good profit sharing deal, but no equity.
Do you have the goal will be to fire them as fast as you can.
Okay.
So you can focus.
Okay.
Because you're not going to side hustle your way to $1 billion company.
It's tough. I mean, I'm already trying just for this week.
Yeah.
I mean, very little sleep.
Yeah. I mean, you can't. It's not a thing, right? And so, I think the 4th location is fine. Build it as well as you possibly can. Try to nail the model. Once you nail the model, we'll probably have another conversation, which is just, are we going to scale this privately, or are you going to franchise it? Yes. Franchising works better for food businesses because they literally are recipes, and you can standardize the outcome much more easily than you can with like a service business, which is why service businesses are hard. Plenty of people do franchise them, but they're just much harder to franchise because you have to sell basically arbitrage on labor. So yeah, I think as soon as you can, I would go all in on the 4th location, make it your main thing.
So quick follow-up. So I'm gonna focus on the 4th location as soon as I can. My time, I was getting a good return on my time, and then I'm gonna have those, let's say, 70 hours a week to focus on the 4th location. What's the best way to spend those 70 hours? I'm not gonna be as little operationally, of course, more building, but
in the 4th.
Yes, I'm gonna be there, of course, but
Yeah, I would for sure be there.
I'm gonna be there.
Like, you need to understand where every fry goes. You know what I mean? Like, it has to be, like, you need to know that thing like the back of your hand, so that you can really make sure that you don't have a single square foot extra that you don't need. Like, what you're going to be building towards is return on invested capital. That is going to be the metric that you'll need to optimize around, and payback period. So just like you have a payback period for a customer, when you chunk up a level to the business side, it's payback period per location. And so if you spend $100,000, I'm making simple math, $100,000 to open a location, if you can get that $100,000 back in 3 months, then it's like, great, I can open another location, right? And so if it takes you 3 years to get it back, it's gonna be very hard to scale this thing, right? Which is why you need to really, really aggressively control costs on the build out, but also on the day-to-day in terms of like, how few people can I use to make this run? And I'm telling you gotta study like Raising Cane's right now, like he's the best in the game right now, in my opinion.
Yes.
Like just everything that he puts out, which is so little, which is a fucking pain. But everything he puts out, that would be the guy.
We're doing beef tallow chicken actually, very close. So
yeah, I mean, as simple as possible, as few ingredients as you can, smallest footprint. You can do a drive-through.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do have a drive-through. Yeah, that's gonna be good.
All right, and then it's gonna come down to location picking, and then and then crushing the grand opening.
Sure thing.
That's the big thing.
I actually don't know much about that, but I'm sure.
You need to. So brick and mortar comes down to return on invested capital, like I just said. You need to have a career path structure so that you can have some sort of, call it pseudo ownership of each individual location. So you have somebody who feels like an owner who's worked there, like Chick-fil-A has mastered this. And you need to have a banger grand opening strategy. Like these are the things that are required in order to make brick and mortar work at scale. Because remember I said that payback period thing?
Yes.
If you crush the grand opening, you can pull forward the payback period so you can start opening the next ones.
Makes total sense.
Cool.
Total sense.
And I'll give you one more thing, which is just that once you do the grand openings, we should be able to sustain the store off of word of mouth, because food, the margins are so low. There's obviously little things we can do, but like the margins are low enough that we should be good enough. The chicken should be good enough that people eat the chicken, want to come back, tell their friends about it. So it's like we want to spend the marketing up front so that we basically have enough people try the food and tell their friends, that the people who churn out are equal to the amount of people who come for the first time, and then it stays at that capacity, and then it keeps them printing money.
Makes total sense. Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, Alex. We
Good,
appreciate you.
All right, appreciate. All right, let's go. So, is that fun? That was my first of my, the first of our 30-day countdown of answering as many questions as I possibly can. Do a Guinness World Record of question answering. We had a lot of weight loss today. Okay, so let's see here. I think that was good for day one. How'd you guys like it? Let me look at the chat real quick. Anyone in the comments who's a millionaire? Yeah, there's probably people in the comments, Josh. There's a lot of business owners that follow my stuff. By the way, it's funny because like I guess millionaire versus $1 million business owners. That's a good delineation. You help companies how to build real estate system. That is a bit open-ended. Wow. All right. Wish there were more breaks between people. Yeah, you know what? That's something that we could probably do on our side. That's a good piece of feedback. What cane did you say was the best? Raising Cane's is the guy who's really, really good. He's unbelievable. He's a deca-billionaire now. Owns every location outright. Really impressive. Love the format. Okay, cool. Not even trying to run a business. Okay. You sell a chatbot. How do you scale? Use the chatbot to sell more people. Scaling clothing brand suggestions. Partner with a gigantic influencer who has a good brand. How can I start being more disciplined? Just start. Do you think dropshipping is a good business model? No, but I think it's a good way to get started and learn how to do stuff and make some money. Typically doesn't scale. All right, now we got a lot more preguntas in the chat. What do you do if you don't know what to do? You build capacity. You sleep well. You get in shape. You save your money. You build capacity so when the opportunity does come, you can go all in. How do you build a soap production facility? Man, I would never, if you're like, what questions am I going to get if I had to like answer, if I put the first 100, building a soap production facility would not have been on my 100 list. How do you scale house flipping? Really good question. The people who I have seen who do well there basically become marketing companies nationally for flippers. As in they do lead gen and sometimes get percentages of deals. How do you scale an online school quickly? Ads and have a good product. When do you know you should hire a worker? When you can afford. This is actually a really good question. I'll answer this question because I think it's. I'll take. This will be my meteor question from the chat. So when do you hire your first employee? You either have to borrow the money from the future, or you have to use cash flow from today to be able to afford that employee, right? And so then the next question is, with the time that this new employee affords you, are you able to generate more, and ideally 4 or 5 times what that employee is covering for you, right? And so let's say I've got a business that does $200,000 top line, $100,000 in profit. If I hire somebody, and let's say it's call it a minimum wage or a minimum wage plus, it's like maybe it's $30,000 a year. So I have 70 left. If that 30 can give me half my time back, right? Then it's like maybe I can get another $100,000 on top of it. So I'm still getting a return on that time, right? And so the idea is it's a continuous play of arbitrage as an entrepreneur to trade the lowest things on your calendar that are taking your time for the highest value things on your calendar that make you the most money. And that trade just literally never ends. And in the beginning of a business, it's almost entirely promotion driven, meaning you have to let people know about your stuff and you have to get them to give you money. Once you have that, then over the long term, it's about how good the product is. And so it's kind of interesting because the things that it takes to help you start often is marketing and sales, because if no one knows about your stuff, you're not gonna make any money. And if you can't get them to give you the money, you're also not gonna make any money. But it will be difficult to scale because you're always gonna have to find new people rather than have the people that you found originally keep wanting to pay you. And so John Paul DiGiorgio said this really great quote that I like. He said, you want to be in the resale business, not the sell business, right? Which is that you don't want to always have to get new customers. And this is, again, one of the pros and cons of educational businesses is that they are higher margin because the value of education is super, super high, and it's an intangible thing, right? And so you can charge a lot for it because people want those skills, and people can't lose those skills once you have them. So that is why education is valuable. And I'm only bringing this up because we had a bunch of education businesses today. The downside is that once someone learns it, there's very little value that additional education confers unless it's something different or something better that you're educating them on, right? And so you ideally want to build businesses that have consumable value, meaning it's value that they need every single, if you're trash removal, like they still need their trash removed tomorrow. If you're cleaning, they still need cleaning tomorrow. If you're making, editing videos like Dorina earlier, it's like they still need more videos edited. So there's consumable value there, and that is what a recurring service is structured as. Now, where it gets more difficult is that in a recurring service for stuff that people already do, then it can be a commodity because other people also do that recurring service. And so then it goes into the other variables of value, which is how can I establish that I am better at it in a meaningful way, which comes down to tracking the data of your customers so you can demonstrate that compared to your competition. How can I do it faster from the time that they buy to the time that they get, and then faster from the time that they get to the time that they ultimately get the outcome that they're looking for. And then from an ease perspective, like what are the things that my competitors are forcing them to do that they don't want to do that I can remove from them? And right now is very ripe for even knowledge service businesses because people are like, don't start a knowledge-based business because of AI, sure. But there is also a window of time right now and you got to make money. So it's not like, oh, well, I'll just not try at all, right? It's like start. And you can use the money and use AI to make more money because there's this fallacy of a perfectly informed market that everyone knows everything and prices are perfect, which is not reality. And so there are plenty of people who are not techie who, again, you don't need to tell anyone you're using AI. You just need to do the service and use AI and do it more competitively than people who are not using it, which are the older, more entrenched players in the space, whatever space you're getting into. And so this question originally started with, how do I know who to hire? But it just comes down to, we have to trade the least valuable time that we have for the most valuable time. And as long as we can make a good margin on the time that we're trading, it is worth it. Now, the difficulty when we hire somebody new, especially when it's your first hire, is that you're gonna have to train them well. And so what I would encourage you to do is you have, I'll call it 2 schools of thought. The more advanced you are as a business owner, typically, the more you'll hire high up first and then lower later. But the reason that is something that a more advanced business owner will do is typically because they're not starting from true scratch, right? And I say this as somebody who started from true scratch and started with low-skilled labor as the first hires because it was all I could afford. But when you see sometimes these investor-backed companies, they can get 3, 4, 5, 6 people in the founding team who are all studs. And as a result, the overall culture and caliber of the talent that team can attract is much higher. But the debt that you incur as the entrepreneur is that you either give up equity to the investor or equity to the co-founders, and that is permanent. And you have to make a very good judgment call, and oftentimes you get it wrong, right? And so if you're like, man, all these paths sound difficult, it's like, that's just reality. And the reason that you get compensated above normal is because you take above normal risk, and this is a big one that I think a lot of people in the world don't understand, is that once a business works, what people do not see is the 4 businesses you had beforehand who did not work, that you learn the lessons from. And so if your business isn't working as well as you wanted to, I would use what I started today with, which is, do I need to apply sandpaper? Am I just rounding out the edges because things are going okay and I need them to go better? Or is this completely averse from the goals that I have and there's no way that I can see that I'm gonna get to where I wanna go and I must change the way I do business? And so I think both of those are decisions that you have to make at different points in your career, and call it wisdom if you want, is knowing the difference. And so with that, I appreciate you all. Love you, mean it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We're doing one tomorrow. All right, rock and roll. Let's slay. Be easy. All right, bye.